So, first off, congratulations on qualifying. And I'll tell you, I am wearing my Israel Strong shirt this morning. Um, I'm all aboard with Israel. I have been for a couple of years, and we've interviewed Nate Fish a couple different times, had a couple of the other players, Tom Gamboa as well, and it's really exciting to see where baseball is going in Israel, and that they did qualify for the WBC. It's a tall order to fill, though. You guys are headed to Korea.
We are. We've got to have a tough bracket with Korea and Taiwan and the Netherlands. But, if we get the right cast of characters, we'll be very competitive.
And what I want to know is how different will the roster be from the qualifying roster to the actual World Baseball Classic roster?
A little too early to tell because, we have a lot of good names, but we don't have a lot of commitments yet. And we're just in the midst of that process of talking to guys, inviting them, and getting their responses. We have a number of potential big league players, of course, that could be on the roster, and yet it's kind of a difficult time to get guys, especially to go to Korea because it's right during spring training. Especially the young guys who are trying to make a ball club will be a little bit reticent about leaving for 10 days, but we'll see how it goes.
Now, if you get the optimal roster, the Ryan Braun and Jock Peterson and others, I'll tell you what, you guys are going to be a formidable team over there.
Well, we'll have an offensive group, and I think a lot depends on the pitching, but the WBC lends itself to a situation where you can kind of mix and match with your pitching, so you can kind of pick your spots with people because of the pitch limitations.
Now, how long have you been involved with baseball?
With baseball?
Yes.
55 years, probably.
And what is it about baseball that drew you in?
From day one, I was passionate about baseball. Yeah, I mean, obviously when we were kids, we did everything.
Right.
But obviously focusing on baseball in college and after college.
For me, it's the family. It's one giant family. And, you and I, we've crossed paths before, as we talked about the other day. In 2006, you were in Modesto. I was the clubhouse manager in Lancaster. And, you treat me, like I'm one of the guys. And, that's what I like about it, is we're all one big family.
No doubt. It's a bunch of concentric circles, and it's amazing how tight and how interconnected people in baseball are.
It really is. And so I kind of want to bring up 2006. So you're in Modesto, and when I first got the job down in Lancaster, Chad Kreuter was going to be Modesto's manager, and of course Chad took the job at USC, which opened up the position, and it was given to Glenn Allen Hill. And Glenn Allen Hill,
right.
my Glenn Allen Hill story is I don't know if you remember, there was a series that you guys came down to Lancaster, and we had a game to where your first baseman, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, he hit a foul ball. And it was down the first base line, and it had hooked, and it was one of those close calls to where it could have been a fair ball. Umpire called a foul ball. He's kind of upset. He comes back, very next pitch, he puts it almost in the same exact spot, but the umpire calls it a home run, which led to a pretty much a brawl. As he's going around first base, he's jawing at the umpire. Our pitcher, who was A.J. Shappy, was thinking, he was chatting to him. And, he gets to second base. It continues, and he's trying to explain himself. It wasn't about you, Gets halfway home. our catcher Josh Ford steps out in front of the plate and pretty much just levels him. And I don't know if you remember that, but
no, you know what? I think I was there the next year because I managed that team. I think it was probably my first year was the next year. I wasn't there for that.
Oh, okay.
I would have remembered it, however.
It was one to remember because Josh Ford is a big dude. He's like 6'3", 240. And Glenn Allen Hill, who's also a big guy, picked him up like he was a rag doll and drove him to the backstop.
Glenn Allen Hill is a man. He's a big, strong man.
He's a teddy bear too.
He is. He's a very gentle man. He's not overly physically aggressive. He's a good fellow. He
is a good guy, and I definitely I remember that, and of course coming out of the the dugout, you get fined, and it was an interesting moment. It was one of my first brawls that I ever was a part of. I mean, I just stepped out onto the field, and I was chatting with different coaches and stuff like that, watching everything unfold. But if you weren't involved in baseball, what would you be doing?
Oh, I'd probably be a football coach somewhere. I have actually coached football at the college level and the high school level, and I like coaching. Yeah, I'd be coaching something.
Right. And how long have you been with the Rockies organization?
This will be my 11th year.
And how you liking it?
Well, obviously, being that long there with one organization, I like it. I like the people. I like the players. I like our direction.
So
the plan we have.
My wife's dad's best friend growing up was Hal Roth. And so Hal,
great man.
Yes, he is. Of course, Hal's up there in the front office with the Rockies, and don't really get to talk to him very much. He's a busy man. But so, do you actually when baseball is out of season, do you still kind of follow what's going on in the winter leagues and stuff?
Yeah, I mean it's not seasonal for me. I do clinics year round, and with us, I go to instructional league, and then in the fall, I'll go out and see players for our scouting director, Bill Schmidt, and then I'll do that some later in the spring after spring training and after I've been to our affiliate. So I'm kind of right now. It's not very seasonal. I'm kind of year round, and with this Team Israel thing, that's also occupied a lot of my time.
Yeah, I still think that's pretty exciting. They lose to Spain 4 years ago in the final game, and pretty much in the same spot against Great Britain, and they pull it off. And you have quite the roster. Cody Decker, of course, is probably one of the more popular ones. Who, he's a filmmaker and just a big prankster. And what's it like having Cody on the team?
Oh, Cody's the best. He's the heart and soul of that ball club. He keeps things light. He's a hard player. He's a good player. He's kind of the leader of the pack. He's a very important guy to us.
Plus, he keeps things loose.
Without a doubt. We had one trip we worked out before the qualifier. We were up in Hudson Valley, and we had to bus down from Hudson Valley to Brooklyn, probably 2.5 hour bus ride, and he organized a Trivial Pursuit. I mean, really organized with videos and audio, and everybody threw an X number of dollars for the prize money, and it was really, it made the trip go fast, but it was extremely entertaining because of Cody.
The one thing that I've noticed about Cody is he does not do things half-assed. I mean, if Cody does something, I mean, it's pretty extravagant.
Yeah, he's all in. It's not halfway. You're exactly right.
Now, are you surprised that he really, I don't think he's got his fair due at the major league level. I mean, he's had his cup of tea, cup of coffee, but it seems that he gets passed over every year towards especially towards the end of the season.
Well, it's a pretty competitive environment, and and probably he's had some years where he probably should have gotten some opportunities, but he didn't, and yet he got to the big leagues with I want to say with Kansas City,
right? Yep.
And he's still got some breath in his lungs. He's got a chance. It depends what happens. Obviously, the WBC thing will add to his resume, and from year to year, it's about performance and need. And if you're in the right spot at the right time, you can take advantage of some opportunities that are presented.
Now, you also have another guy who's involved who we've had on the show quite a bit, and that's Nate Fish. And, he tabs himself the king of Jewish baseball. And he's a character as well. And talk a little bit about Nate.
Nate's in the Cody Decker mode, big personality, but he's a good baseball man as well. He knows what he's doing. He's a very positive addition to our staff. Coach first base for us, throws great BP, and has a great personality.
He does, and like I said, it's along that Cody Decker mold. Let's talk a little bit about catching. And so, is there, I know you got some catchers in the Rockies organization that I'm sure you like, but is there a catcher or two, whether they're in the major leagues or in the minor leagues, that really stand out to you right now?
Well, I'm a big Jonathan LaCroix fan. I like the way he goes about his business. But there are a lot of good young catchers in the big leagues. Gary Sanchez is unbelievable.
Oh, he can hit.
But he can also catch and throw.
That is true.
And Cervelli's outstanding. There are a number of good catchers, more now than maybe in the past, and especially with the new metrics relative to receiving. The defensive side of catching it's kind of the pendulum has swung more towards the defensive side now, even though there are some offensive catchers out there.
Right. And, you talk about defensive side of the ball, you think of, at least I think of Yadi Molina, the St. Louis Cardinals. Of course, he's getting a little bit older, still holds his own. But is Yadi still, do you still think Yadi is still the best defensive catcher, or if not one of them still?
Well, he's certainly one of them. Probably not the best right now, but right up there.
All right. And so I want to put you on the spot a little bit. So come around March now, you guys head over to Korea, and you guys will play. And I believe you guys open up against Korea.
That's correct. We open up against Korea.
What does Team Israel, the tangibles, what do they need to do to beat Korea? It's a tall order. Of course, you got your pitching, you got to play some defense, and you got to hit the ball. But is there anything that's overlooked?
Well, I don't know too much about Korea yet, but we have some young pro scouts that are really working, Alex Jacobs and others. But it always comes down to pitching. If you don't pitch, especially you're dealing with in a short tournament like that. Every game is like the seventh game of the World Series, and so every pitch is critical. Not that it isn't during the season as well, but how you pitch is going to determine whether you win or lose.
Israel gets a win in the World Baseball Classic. I'm saying, of course, if they get the win, what does that do for baseball in Israel? It's already blowing up, but how much more growth can there be?
Well, considerable. There's under 1,000 players in playing baseball in Israel, and one of the problems is lack of resources. There really isn't one decent field. There's not enough coaches. There's not enough staff to administer a program, and now with qualifying, they're going to get some revenue from MLB. But if we advance, say to Japan, come in first or second, they'll get considerably more revenue. Plus, heightens people's awareness not only in Israel but in the United States. Maybe they'll be able to access some donors who weren't aware of the program in Israel at this time. Winning one game means you don't have to qualify for the next WBC, and
right.
winning it all, which is the ultimate goal, would provide tremendous resources and make it a program for years and really build some good facilities throughout the country.
Italy had a nice little run in the last World Baseball Classic, and so why not Israel? Why not Israel be, this year's Italy run? I think they made it to the quarterfinals, maybe even the semi. I think it was the quarterfinals in 2013. I like the chances. I like what you guys are doing. I like the makeup of the team. You've got some ball players. Of course, pitching is the key. You had Jason Marquis pitch for you in the qualifying, and hopefully he's around for the Classic.
He will. He'll be there for the Classic.
And that's huge. That is huge. I mean, he's got the experience, an older guy, to work with the younger pitchers. That's huge.
Yeah, the competition is a little bit, considerably stronger. Not that Brazil and Great Britain were not formidable. They certainly were. They had some good players, both teams. But when you talk about Korea and Taiwan, their preparation and the time that they will prepare for this national significant tournament will be greater. Plus, they will get all their guys. We hope to get a percentage of the available best guys. They'll get all their best guys.
Right.
They won't be lacking anybody. And same with the Netherlands.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and we're pulling for Israel, and I love the World Baseball Classic. I think it's great. A chance of for these other countries to show their talent, and I'll tell you, baseball worldwide has come a long ways in the last 10, 15 years.
Well, I'll tell you, if the qualifier is any indicator of how it's run, it's first class, big league, highest big league standards in everything that they do. Number one, number two, from a global perspective, especially in Israel, because the baseball in Israel is all inclusive. Many of the teams are combination Arabs and Jews. I think that's great from a diplomatic standpoint. Certainly, when people learn about one another on a playing field and athletic field in a competitive environment, they come to a greater understanding of how similar they are. And I just think that MLB does a tremendous job with this event, at least so far that I've seen.
So you have a book out called The Complete Handbook of Coaching Catchers. And give us a brief deal on your book here.
Well, it's hard to be brief because it's almost 400 pages. But,
oh wow!
It's catching from A to Z. Has application for young kids who are just starting out to catch, but it also has a lot of advanced stuff that professional players can use or could use. It's very detailed. A lot of pictures, a lot of charts, a lot of information. I usually don't like a lot of stuff. I do, but this is one book that I'm really proud of, and I think it's probably the best, if not one of the better books on the market relative to catching.
And where could we go if somebody wanted to purchase? Where can we go to buy it?
There's a website. It's called coachingcatchers.com. Coachingcatchers.com. And I think I have a special on there right now where I have a video, a pre-game prep video that goes along with the book. And if people were interested, they certainly could go to that website.
All right, once again, the manager of Team Israel's World Baseball Classic qualifying team, Jerry Weinstein. Jerry, thank you for coming on, and let's do this again. I'd like to catch you I know during the season it's kind of hard, but let's do this again soon.
You bet, Norm. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, Jerry. Hey, thank you, and go Israel.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Once again, Mr. Jerry Weinstein. Man, Brian, you've been with me for, 3 years now doing this show?
Mm-hmm.
And so you and I have had most of the Israeli guys. I did a couple of them before, the Clubhouse chatter days. And it's kind of hard not to pull for those guys.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be fun to see how they do, and and get to bring these guys on, Norm, when you talk to them and personalize them, and they're great guys, and why not? It's going to be fun, and at least it makes it very fun to watch and interesting, and just to hear the story they're going through, even more impressive.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, and so I'm Norm. That is Brian. Hey, awards were handed out this last week, Brian. And I want to tell you, between Brian and I'm going to toot our little horn. We nailed every single one.
Yes, sir.
We nailed every single one.
We even got the World Series right in the same number of games, too.
We did.
You did.
Well, yeah. I did.
Yeah, so.
And so it was a pretty good year. There are some questions about Mike Trout winning the most valuable player in the American League. You know what? There is no doubt about him being the best player in the game.
He won.
There is. He is. He is the best player in the game.
Yep.
Hands down. And, David Ortiz, Mookie Betts, and there's a couple of others in there. Altuve, he deserved it as well. But, it's kind of hard to argue with the numbers that Trout put up. And he did it in like less than 100 at-bats less than everybody else.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
Another big one was Dave Roberts winning the National League Manager of the Year with the Dodgers, and how they're saying, how could not Joe Madden not win it? Well, the Cubs were expected to win the World Series this year, or at least go to the World Series. And so, what Dave Roberts did with the Dodgers with all those injuries,
right?
He did an amazing job. And, I don't necessarily think it's a hands-down deal, but he definitely deserved the award. And so, hey, I'm Norm. That is Brian. We are Clubhouse Chatter. We are sponsored by baseballisms.com. If you like my hat, you can find it at baseballisms.com. Also, baseballdudes.com. To be the best, you must train like the best. Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver, Washington. Mitch Canham with Base by Pros, building a sports education. And his dad does our shirts for us with MDM Designs. Mark Canham out there in Lebanon. And, hey, every week we're on yamhilltoday.com. Check us out. If you got any questions, shoot me an email, normbo18@gmail.com. Hey, no hate mail. And what else? You can find us on Twitter, Clubhouse Chatter 1T, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes. Where else? Podomatic. MLB.com blogs.
There you go.
Yep. Check us out. Got a bunch of other shows up and about. And so we're going to come back at 9:30. We're going to have Friends of Baseball's Executive Director, Nova Newcomer, is going to be coming on, telling us what Friends of Baseball has going on. And you're not going to want to miss this. It's a great organization out of Portland, giving back to kids and getting kids interested in playing baseball. And so once again, I'm Norm, Brian, and we have Maya, the Clubhouse Chatter mascot, in here as well. And so we'll be back at 9:30.